Hi there, I'm Tricia Pine, and welcome to Rejoice in Your Voice. When ideas or themes of things that come from seemingly unrelated places actually align, it gets my attention. So this week I learned from Brendan Bouchard, who is a peak performance, national best-selling author. He's a public speaker and a business coach. He taught his meditation that he does every day. It's breathing in, and on the exhale he repeats in his mind, release, release, release. Then I was reading in a vocal pedagogy book by W. Stephen Smith, The Naked Voice. He was talking about how he instructs his students that all through what they are singing, he's telling them to fully release their breath the entire time. Release, release, release. Then I picked up a book by Thich Nhat Hanh, and he was nominated by Martin Luther King Jr. for the Nobel Peace Prize. And this book was on communication. And he is a Zen Buddhist master. He's a Zen Buddhist monk. And he talked about communication, and what he said is he suggests a practice around breath that is to say this: I'm aware of my body on the inhale, and on the exhale, you say in your mind, I release all tension from my body. So while all these ideas integrated, I said, you know what? I want to share with you some ways that we could integrate this idea of releasing breath, releasing sound into our practice, all right? So when we learn about breath as a singer, as a speaker, people oftentimes use words such as breath control, breath support. Even on my website, I talk about breath management. I feel it's the least restrictive of all the ways to describe the breath. But possibly, even any of those images or even breath management may conjure in your mind images that feel constraining, or you feel some resistance, or you feel that there must be some manipulation. So what if this week, as we dive into the idea of really fully releasing, that we just put all those words aside, we switch our story, we take away anything that could feel that there must be tension, manipulation, resistance, holding, support, control, all of it. Put it out. And we instead play with that idea of fully allowing the breath to release. So I have given you some suggestions in past blogs and past videos about ways to release tension in the body with the breath, and movement is a great way. Also, another way of allowing the breath to move through is really switching that story that you're telling yourself as you are creating this sound. But let's try this. Let's chunk it down this week. Okay, so put yourself in front of a mirror. The mirror can be a wonderful tool for you because it will show you from the outside in some of these possible red lights that are showing you, that are really trying to guide you to take away all those little manipulations, those little protective mechanisms, those old habits that no longer serve us, that get in the way of really connecting with that deep breath and that allowing, that free-flowing breath, okay? So here's a little checklist. Put yourself in front of a mirror, and as you take the inhale in, what are you doing? And what are you feeling? What do you see that's happening? How can you become your best instructor by looking in between the times you see your coach or your teacher? What are you seeing that's happening? This really helps you start to be your own intuitive coach as you start to take away those pieces that aren't serving you. So here's a little checklist of things for you to look for when you're going into the inhale, okay? Closed throat. Oftentimes I will see clients actually close or restrict their throat as they're taking the breath in. And you can hear it oftentimes. It's that sound, right? Then what about breathing with the tongue? Often people will let the tongue go back and breathe with them, or the jaw will hold on the inhale as well, okay? The next few things I want you to think about. So what about lifting of the head? Don't lift the head while you're breathing in, right? It gets to remain neutral and relaxed. Rigid torso. Sometimes when people breathe in, they'll go into lockdown mode. This is where the management or the support or the control comes in. I want you to stay flexible and open. So if you're in lockdown, packing that breath in, start to switch that muscle memory as well. Locked hips. I want us to be really athletic in our body, flexible and strong, but that flexibility in the hips is important as well as in the knees. No locked knees. And are you grounded in your feet? Okay, really feeling strong and purposeful in those feet. Now, what about the exhale? Okay, I want you to think about how it feels when the breath is exiting. I don't want to stereotype all of our type A personalities, but I am one of them. And are you pushing or driving the air? Okay? If you're a type A, you might be like, no, Tricia, I'm not at all. But just feel how little effort you can have to still create breath movement and sound on that breath. Just watch and observe. Then also closing the throat on the exhale. Sometimes, especially toward the end of a note, some people will close the throat down to stop the sound. Okay, that's not allowing, and that's not allowing for the freedom of that full release. Okay, so don't let the throat close. Tightening of the tongue. The root of the tongue can be really in there as the breath is flowing through. What about holding in the back of the neck? Okay, this is a place on the inhale and the exhale that you could try to take breath into the neck, and that could cause tension there as well. Also on the exhale, make sure you're not in lockdown mode. Add in that bobblehead. Move it around. Get the freedom happening. That helps everything, the larynx, the jaw, all of it. Okay? Then sometimes we may collapse the body on the exhale. The shoulders may round, the back may round in, the sternum collapses, the abdominals collapse as we're trying to get this air out, okay? So that can remain open and flexible. And again, like I said, what all these signs are telling us is not that we're terrible or, oh my gosh, I have so much work to do, but it's letting us know all the things that are getting in the way from really using that low belly connection truly efficiently. So when we remove all of these tics and gestures, the low gut can come in and the throat can stay open and the optimal resonance can be used and utilized. It's truly efficient. It's an efficient way of creating sound. And that's what I want for you. So also, there's another way to go about it, right? If you focus on really being hooked in to that low belly breath, some of these things may just disappear. Okay, so there's two ways to go at it. I want you to try both sides of the equation, all right? So why not try Brendon Burchard's meditation of breathing in and on the exhale, repeat in your mind, release, release, release. Why not try that? Why not try Thich Nhat Hanh's breathing practice of saying, I am aware of my body on the inhale, and on the exhale, I release all tension from my body. While you're creating sound, or while you're singing a song, just let it flow through. And then take W. Stevens Smith's advice from his book, The Naked Voice, and let it just release the entire time. What would happen? And I'm not talking about fire hose amount of breath just crashing through, right? That's the pushing and the driving. But you're creating the sound, and the entire time it's release, 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 release. The lower abdominals can hook in, the throat is open, the resonators are activated, and you will feel that ease, that freedom in the rest of the instrument while the authentic places that are made to create sound are activated. Okay? So also, I'm not going to let you go without saying this small mindset piece. Why and where does the tension come from? let's play with the idea that stuff happens in our day, right? People will say things, we may take it personally, something may happen that really hurts our feelings. We may feel angry, we may feel resentment, resistance. Those things may become part of that physical tension in our body. So while we do these Brendon Burchard practices, while we do the Thich Nhat Hanh practice, while we do the W. Stephen Smith practice, realizing that you're also releasing those things too. Releasing the anger, releasing the frustration, releasing those little things of emotions that sometimes we can hold in our body. So it frees us up to be a beautiful canvas for creating really authentic art, really creating a craft, a beautiful song, a beautiful presentation, right? So the mindset piece around this, allowing us to fully release, is huge. And I'm speaking to myself as much as I'm sharing this with you. This is the work that we must do, and I'm right there with you, right? This is a practice. This is an amazing journey. And the mindset that we bring to it is huge. So I release you to go play with this idea of fully releasing this week. And until next time, always rejoice in your voice. I'm Tricia Pine. Bye-bye.